His tight end Owen Daniels, but he takes a nice little shot right at the end. Another one from Jared Allen, low on the left leg, right in the knee area.
The NFL might sell itself on grit, toughness, and playing the right way, but come on, let's not kid ourselves. There's a long, proud history of dudes who built their legacies on late hits, cheap shots, and doing whatever it took to get into their opponent's head, or sometimes take it clean off.
An initial head start on the pass rush. In other words, an extra step. Because anytime you go upside a man's head.
From legends who blurred the line to full-on goons with rap sheets longer than their highlight reels, we're diving into the 25 dirtiest players in NFL history. So, let's dive right into it. Number 25, Rodney Harrison. Rodney Harrison was the NFL's resident enforcer, a safety who played like he had a personal vendetta against every offensive player.
There was fights and lying, pushing me and shoving me and punching me.
Voted the league's dirtiest player multiple times by his peers, Harrison's hits were as notorious as they were bone-jarring. Number 24, Richie Incognito. His on-field antics included eye gouging and late hits, culminating in a 2009 Sporting News poll where players voted him the dirtiest player in the league. The fact of the matter is, Richie Incognito's name is synonymous with controversy and dirty play. Number 23, Albert Haynesworth. Albert Haynesworth's talents were undeniable, but so was his temper. The 6'6", 320-pound defensive tackle's most infamous moment came in 2006 when he stomped on the unprotected face of Cowboy center Andre Garrod, leading to a 5-game suspension, which was the longest for on-field misconduct at the time.
Right there. Oh my God.
Number 22, Courtland Finnegan. Courtland Finnegan thrived on agitation. The Titans' cornerback was a master of getting under opponents' skin, culminating in a 2010 brawl with Texans receiver Andre Johnson.
Leaning forward, flags come down. Oh, there's punching now.
Yeah, Finnegan in.
During his prime, there was nothing that Finnegan wouldn't do to try and get an advantage during a game. Number 21, James Harrison. James Harrison, the Steelers' fearsome linebacker, played with an intensity that often crossed into illegality.
Flushed out of the pocket. And now he throws at the last second and completed it.
Known for his punishing hits, Harrison amassed over $100,000 in fines during his career. Number 20, Hines Ward. You really gotta be a special kind of dirty player to make this list as a wide receiver, but we gotta call a spade a spade. Hines Ward redefined the wide receiver position with his physicality, often delivering hits more reminiscent of the linebacker, and his attitude and willingness to toe the line of legality definitely matched. His blindside block on Bengals linebacker Keith Rivers in 2008 broke Rivers' jaw and led to the NFL instituting the Hines Ward rule, banning such hits.
Moore, he got right by the oncoming rush. The blitz was owned by Jonathan.
Number 19, Deacon Jones. There are a few players throughout the history of the game that have developed a reputation like Deacon Jones. The Rams' great was as fierce a competitor as you would ever find in the NFL, or anywhere for that matter. He was as gifted as it got when it came to getting after the quarterback. He racked up so many sacks that he basically inspired the league to invent the statistic to start keeping track. People believe that he totaled more than 130 during his time on the gridiron. Unfortunately, he didn't always keep his strategies above the line. Jones employed a variety of moves to punish the unfortunate offensive lineman tasked with blocking him. His most infamous move was the head slap, which was really more of a punch than a slap. In fact, Jones would quite literally punch somebody in the ear hole of their helmet, then blow past. Number 18, Mark Schlereth. You know you're dealing with a different breed of dirty when the guy doesn't just own it, he relishes in it. And despite his good-natured media personality, the fact of the matter is that is Mark Schlereth to a T. He was the ringleader of the late 90s Broncos offensive line, a unit so notorious for their low blows that the NFL literally had to change the rules. Cut blocks were their calling cards, and Schlereth once bragged that while most teams threw 15 a game, Denver threw 40. He didn't just play mean, he wanted you to know he was mean. And well, the knees of countless defensive linemen paid the price. Number 17, Jason Babin. Jason Babin played like a man constantly trying to get suspended, but just barely staying on the right side of the line. Coached by the notoriously vicious Chuck Cecil, who you might see later on this list, Babin carried that same villainous code. Hit hard, hit low, and make it hurt. Bonus points if the tackle looks close enough to be illegal.
Magic, 47-yard gain there. He was right. Look out, the ball is loose.
Philip Rivers nearly lost a career to one of Babin's plays. To Babin, dirty wasn't a derogatory remark. No, it was an edge and a badge of honor. Number 16, Shawn Merryman. Cheap shots, extracurricular hits, late blows. Oh yeah, Merryman hit you however he could, wherever he could. And then he flexed over your body like it was all a part of the show. The man was not trying to make friends, and he made no bones about it. Lights Out wasn't just a nickname, it was Merryman's entire play style. From his roided up rise to greatness to his near violent outbursts, he was an enigma on the gridiron, and a dirty one at that. Number 15, Bart Scott. For most of his career, Bart Scott wasn't in the dirty conversation. That is, until one play changed that narrative forever. In a game against the Saints, Scott targeted Reggie Bush's ankle with a shot that looked very intentional. And it knocked Bush out of the game.
Raises his hand and says, what was the time on that one? So he just goes for it. He gets both legs, both ankles.
After that, everything changed. The whispers became shouts. Suddenly, every late shove, every borderline hit got re-examined. That one moment branded him with the Scarlet D, and it followed him all the way to retirement. Number 14, Darnell Dockett. Dockett was equal parts trash talker and bruiser. He didn't just play defensive line, he played mind games and brought all of the malice an NFL player could need. Sure, he could beat you clean off the line, but he preferred the scenic route sometimes. Elbows to the throat, knees in your back, and some post-whistle love taps to send the message home. Ask Matt Hasselbeck, who found Dockett's forearm pressed into his neck long after a play was dead. Even when the play was over, Dockett rarely was. Number 13, Roy Williams. Roy Williams tackled like a man, trying to yank the skeleton out of your body. The horse collar was his weapon of choice, and he used it so recklessly that the league had to invent a new penalty just to make him stop.
McNabb buys time, now will take off. And he's dragged down from behind.
Multiple fines, a laundry list of victims, and a highlight reel that doubles as a cautionary tale. Williams didn't just blur the line between hard-hitting and dangerous, he sprinted right through it. Number 12, Jared Allen. Jared Allen had a reputation for being a high-motor grinder of an edge rush. But if you watch the tape closely, something a bit more nefarious was going on in our estimation. There are a few too many hits that conveniently ended at a quarterback's knees. Take Matt Schaub, for example. The former Texans quarterback missed games as a result of his hit by Allen.
Tight end Owen Daniels, but he takes a nice little shot right at the end. Another one from Jared Allen, low on the left leg.
He's one of the most respected players on this list, but he always walked that fine line between relentless effort and see you in court. Number 11, Brian Dawkins. Weapon X wasn't just a nickname, it was a warning label. Dawkins was a Hall of Famer with a Hall of Fame temper, and when he came downhill, you better be wearing two mouthpieces. His peers voted him one of the dirtiest players in the league, and that was for good reason. He led with his helmet, finished with his shoulder, and delivered hits that could stop time. That whistle meant nothing. If Dawkins had a target, you were getting hit, ready or not. Number 10, Andre Waters. We have another notorious secondary man for the Birds, one who just sort of fit the vibe of the city and the fans and all of that. Cause man, there's tough, and then there's Andre Waters. The late Eagle safety wasn't just physical, the man was feared. He hit below the waist so often that the league literally wrote a rule to stop him. Number 9, Lyall Alzado. Alzado wasn't playing football, oh no. He was waging war. A full-blown lunatic between the lines, Alzado believed in one thing: winning at all costs. If that meant a cheap shot, a late hit, or swinging a helmet like a medieval weapon, so be it. Alzado never had any issue taking his outbursts outside the whistles either, as he garnered a reputation for being willing to try and fight an opponent mid-game. Number 8, Steve Wiznooki. Every defense that lined up across from Steve Wiznooki knew one thing: it was gonna hurt. A mainstay of the Raiders line in the 90s, Wiznooki made a living out of holding, twisting, clawing, and finishing blocks well after the whistle. He led with his fists, finished with his forearms, and left you wondering how your kidneys felt like they'd been hit with a bat. Raiders football at its absolute filthiest. The man embodied the silver and black culture at the time. Number 7. Chuck Cecil. Over his relatively brief but wildly eventful 7-year career in the NFL, Chuck Cecil made his presence known in a major way. In a dirty way. Cecil hit like he was trying to send a message to your descendants. In just 7 seasons, he compiled more fines than some guys get tackles. He was the embodiment of an era when dirty was still marketed as tough, and even by those standards, Cecil pushed the envelope and racked up plenty of fines as he injured the competition. And yet the man just kept coming. Shoulder low, helmet forward, morality left back in the locker room. Number 6. Jack Tatum. Jack Tatum wasn't just a safety. He was the embodiment of football's dark side. Nicknamed the Assassin, he delivered hits that bordered on criminal. Tatum once proudly stated, "I like to believe that my best hits border on felonious assault." That is that's some dark stuff, especially when you factor in the context of what has come to be known as his most infamous moment, the 1978 preseason hit on Patriots receiver Darrell Stingley that left Stingley paralyzed. Tatum never apologized, cementing his legacy as one of the game's most feared and reviled figures. Number 5. Joe Green. Mean Joe Green was not just a nickname, it was a warning. As the anchor of the Steelers' steel curtain defense, Green dominated with a ferocity that left opponents bruised and battered. He didn't just tackle, he punished. Green was known to spit on opponents and throw punches when things didn't go his way. Number 4. Conrad Dolbler. Conrad Dolbler didn't just play dirty, he reveled in it. Dubbed Pro Football's dirtiest player by Sports Illustrated in 1977, Dolbler's tactics included punching, kicking, biting, and even spitting on injured opponents. Dolbler was so dirty that it's actually hard to even imagine him playing in today's game. The league and the players would just not stand for it. Just ask Mean Joe Green, who he punched in a game, or Merlin Olsen, who he kicked in the head. I mean, come on, this list just goes on and on. Number 3. Ndamukong Suh. Ndamukong Suh's blend of talent and aggression made him one of the most feared defensive tackles in recent memory. But his penchant for crossing the line overshadowed his skills. Suh's rap sheet includes stomping on opponents, delivering late hits, and racking up fines. While Suh defended his actions as competitive intensity, many saw a player who too often let aggression override sportsmanship, which, considering his propensity for stomping, seems like a fair assessment. Number 2. Vontae Perfect. Vontae Perfect's career is a highlight reel of controversy. Known for his vicious hits and disregard for player safety, Perfect amassed over $5 million in fines and was suspended for 22 games, the most for on-field misconduct in NFL history. His most notorious moment came in a 2016 playoff game when he delivered a brutal hit to Antonio Brown's head, leading to a concussion. Perfect's repeated offenses eventually led to a season-long suspension in 2019, effectively ending his NFL career. Number 1. Bill Romanowski. When it comes to a dirty player, there are a few names more synonymous than Bill Romanowski. He wasn't just dirty, he was dangerous. The man has a list of transgressions that resemble a rap sheet. Whether it was spitting on opponents, breaking fingers, or taking cheap shots, his lack of sportsmanship really knew no bounds. He even punched his teammate in the face and shattered his eye socket. His unapologetic approach and repeated offenses make him the dirtiest player in NFL history, a title that he seemed to wear with pride. But who do you think is the dirtiest NFL player of all time? Who do you think we're right about? Who do you think we're wrong about? Was there anyone that we may have missed? Let us know in the comments section below. If you liked this video and learned a thing or two, then hey, clicking the like button helps out a ton. And you know, we really appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to TPS though, then subscribing is a great idea because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching and we'll see you guys next time.